Everybody in here is super young.
Oh, goddamn.
Oh, come
What?
on.
Oh.
Hey, are you 21?
If I could turn back time, if I could find a way, I'd take back those words that'll hurt you, and you'd stay. I don't know why I did the things I did.
Welcome back to the Night Pod Cometh, where we talk about the show It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm Magnum Mills, and I'm back with the Soupdeucer to discuss Season 17, Episode 6, Overage Drinking, a National Concern. Soup, I don't know that the gang has ever been concerned with drinking other than making sure that they drink enough that they don't get the shakes and have to go into a quarantine again, even if it means taking a little swig of mouthwash. Are you ready, man? This is a sequel to an episode that came out almost 20 years to the date. I'm very excited, but I also feel very old.
Exactly, man. Definitely makes a couple decades go by, and you're like, man, a couple decades went by. It's each year goes quicker than the last, I suppose. But yeah, looking forward to this one, man. The it was one of those judging by the titles, I felt like would be a pretty solid episode, man. So yeah, looking forward
Yeah,
to
almost like the title kind of gave away the game a little bit in terms of what was going to happen here. Let's get into it. Thanks again for checking out the Night Pod Cometh. We are presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. Find our content wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Dudes Watch Stuff and on the web at dudeswatchstuff.com. Simple, easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe if you had fun. Remember that thumb. And you should know that this is going to be a full spoiler affair. All aired episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia up through Season 17, Episode 6, Overage Drinking, a National Concern, are fair game for discussion, as well as the It's Always Sunny podcast, other podcasts, interviews, articles, you name it. And if you don't know, now you know.
Let's do this thing!
This is Overage Drinking, a National Concern, Season 17, Episode 6, the 176th overall episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Originally aired August 6, 2025. Directed by Ashley Birch. This is the first episode of Sunny that she has directed, coming over from Mythic Quest, Rob Mack's other show, where she directed 4 episodes, I believe. This one was written by the dynamic duo of The Writing Room, Charlie Day and Rob Mack. This is the second of 3 episodes written by them this season. Guest starring David Hornsby as Cricket, Andrew Friedman as Uncle Jack, Jamie Alexander as Tammy, and Robert Adamson as Trey. Co-starring Jack Michael Doak as Trey Jr., Brielle Barbuska as Carrie, Bob Wiltfong as Chet Wallum, Alex McElhenney as Bar Kid number 1, Miles Howerton as Bar Kid number 2, and Leo McElhenney as Bar Kid number 3. The short plot synopsis is: when Trey and Tammy, now in their 40s, show up to remove their teenage son from Patty's, Dennis and Dee attempt to reconnect with their former prom dates. Frank's sudden disappearance sends Mac and Charlie on a mission. And Soup, everyone out there, you should know this is a direct sequel to the 3rd overall episode of the series, Underage Drinking, a National Concern. So if you haven't seen that one in a minute, it would help. There are some callbacks here, but you should be able to enjoy this one even if you haven't seen it in a minute. Soup, I know you're a fan of the drinking, overage, of course. Everyone has to be of legal age and whatnot. So overall thoughts on this one, man? Overage Drinking.
looking back on it, I thought it would be a different kind of episode than what it was, judging by just the title of the episode. Not disappointed in that or anything. I just felt like it would be more of I felt like they would lean more into that title and like things regarding that, overage drinking scenario.
Right. The overage was just in the context of where it was underage before. It wasn't about like getting old and drinking too much or something.
Yeah, that's kind of where I thought it would end up, something like that, but it wasn't. So again, not really a disappointment, but not what I expected out of it.
I'll say the same thing. Maybe the biggest pitfall for me here is because the season has been on a heater. knowing the title of the episode, knowing it was a sequel, knowing that they were bringing some of the original actors back, my expectations were sky high. Again, enjoyed it. I don't think there's ever been a bad episode of Sunny, but I don't think it quite cleared the bar that I was hoping for. The placement in the season didn't do them any favors. I think if you move this to the second episode right after the Abbott crossover, I think it plays better, just because in Dog Track we had two pretty epic team ups between Dee and Dennis and Mac and Charlie. Trying to follow that up here with the same pairings, it just felt it was hard in comparison. You know what I mean? I think, I don't want to say paled in comparison, but I think Dog Track did that so well that just putting it right next to it just kind of is like, oh boy, Mac and Charlie especially are kind of all over the place. Whereas, last week they had Sparky just kind of guide them through this weird dog thing that was going on. And it was so funny. The Dennis and Dee storyline is definitely funny, but again, maybe not quite as funny as them losing their shirts. I almost wish we had more from the guest stars. Maybe you trimmed it down and just focus on Dennis and Dee, and maybe somehow, keep Uncle Jack and Cricket in, or give them a bigger plot or something. That's probably my other complaint, is that we got Uncle Jack for a scene, Cricket for a scene, but it felt more like cameos than like they were really, integral to the plot.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. That's exactly kind of what it was. It's more like cameos.
Yeah, and it was kind of extra meta too, right? They were trying to do a genre thing, and they kept talking about it. Some of it, the teenage drama versus adult drama, and Max, they're doing the thriller thing, and then it's a political thriller and all that stuff. It was fine. I don't know if they were going for something. If they got there, I didn't quite get it. So that's on me, or just maybe, I don't know. It was just a little bit muddled overall. I'd say if you really had to kind of look down globally, this is probably closer to the first couple of episodes of season 16, which were good. But I think once you hit Frank versus Russia last season, it really took off, and they carried that momentum over into this season. So not bad, just not quite, I think quite, right up to snuff. It definitely didn't keep the momentum they had going. Not a full train stop. Obviously, you have to do some setup for the big finale and everything. But it also would have helped if we didn't know the big reveal was Frank being on the Golden Bachelor, because we already knew that.
Yeah, true, true. Again, one of those things, the spoilers, man. Nobody likes a spoiler.
Right, and that's in the title even. Like, there was no real way to get around that one. So it kind of is what it is. Same thing with this episode. Once they picked that title, you kind of knew where it was going. Let's get into the episode recap and discussion, starting with 4:30 p.m. on a Friday in Philadelphia. The gang notices that a lot of young-looking people are drinking at Patty's. A couple comes in and they confront two teenagers who claim to be in love. Dennis and Dee note that they look familiar, but it's Charlie who recognizes exactly who they are.
This is classic Tammy.
Decent cut to the title card here. It doesn't work nearly as well. This is a direct callback from Underage Drinking. Like Charlie saying, "Oh, classic Tammy." That was definitely a major, one of the more funny moments, kind of because Charlie got really into the gossipy high school persona. So if you hadn't seen Underage Drinking in a while, it might not have landed as hard, but it definitely, got a pretty good chuckle from me. Soup, one thing I didn't pick up on first watch through, those three kind of punk kids, those are the kids of Rob Mack and Glenn Howerton.
Oh, God
Oh,
damn.
come on. Hey, are you 21?
Yeah, what does it look like?
Yeah, fuck off, Grandpa.
That's two of Rob's sons and Dennis's, and Glenn's son.
No shit, I did not know that either, man. But man, they were young as shit, right? Those were kids who were young to be in a bar, yeah, but obviously not old enough to be in a bar.
That's how old it is, though, man. Like, this show has been on so long that their kids are like, they're pushing it a little bit, but they're showing up in the bar. So I just kind of, enjoyed that a bit. I don't really have a problem with them doing this sequel. They've generally been pretty good. They haven't done a ton of them. They did, Gun Fever too. They've done a few sequels, Shardy McDennis too. I was hoping for a little more, but I'm not upset that they did it. You know what I mean? I like that they went for it. I wish almost they had leaned, a little bit harder on the previous stuff and worked Tammy and Trey in a little bit more. And, even same thing with the, bringing the punk kids back around, something like that. Like, they kind of set up the whole Romeo and Juliet thing, and it pays off a little bit at the end. But, it does seem like they're kind of all over the place a little bit from a, writing standpoint.
You think it's like a part two. You think it would be like a part two, but it wasn't really like a part two,
Yeah, it was a little bit more kind of disconnected. Like, what happened before mattered kind of tangentially, but more or less they were doing like almost the reboot thing, right? We were kind of like tacking it on over top of it more than a sequel. Like, they kept back and trying to redo the same thing more or less. So, maybe that's kind of the meta genre stuff they were going for.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But again, nothing beats, you go back to the original, it's them, just drinking high school kids under the table and stuff like that, and wanting to go to prom. Like that was just such a funny episode, maybe my favorite episode of the first season. So this is good, but it's not like nearly as dark and funny as Dog Track was, but it kind of tries to go there a little bit. So, decent setup here. I'll say that. After the opening credits, Charlie updates Mac and the viewers about Tammy, Trey, their history with Dennis and Dee, yada, yada, yada. Mac literally doesn't care. He's not interested in teenage drama. After talking with Dee and Dennis for a bit, Trey and Tammy leave. Charlie then correctly predicts that Dennis and Dee are going to try to bag them. I gotta say, Soup, good looking cast here, right? There's a couple of comments. I think Dee makes a remark about Tammy about time going to her ass. I wish we could all age as gracefully as Jamie Alexander. And quite honestly, everybody, if you are watching on the YouTube, you'll see we will put up some pictures. I got to say, Soup, everyone looks remarkably good, especially considering most of these people, our gang members, have been at a bar for 20 years, pretty much, 7 days a week. That's remarkable. Some of them look, almost better.
Ravishing. Yeah, absolutely, man.
Did you get the whole bit, like when Charlie opens and he's doing all the kind of whispered hush hush, like, all right, here's what's going down? Yeah, I think that's a, kind of the 2-for-1 there. They're trying to kill two birds with one stone. It's a direct callback to the previous one, but it's also, if you are new here, you haven't seen the old one or you haven't seen it in a while, Charlie, I think, gives you enough exposition to get you on track, right? And does it pretty quickly without it being too awkward.
Yeah, I think so, man. And even if you, yeah, exactly, man. Even if you don't, if you've never seen the other one, you still can kind of like, you're not going to get lost,
Yeah, good job of having your cake and eat it too, because it functions as both a callback and just a functional way of telling people, like, all right, here's what the deal is. And then Charlie kind of continuing to do the whisper thing at the very end of the scene where Dee and Dennis can still hear him when he's
Yeah.
like, I think they're going to try to sleep with those people that don't want to sleep with them. It's probably going to wind up in a rape or a murder. He was close. It wound up in a suicide attempt.
Yeah, I mean, it was right there in the ballpark, dude. Yeah, but it was, we can hear you. That was pretty funny. I like the reaction there, and then Dennis's reaction was perfect. Spot on. So
Jesus Christ, man. We can hear you. I would never do that.
Well,
Don't tell her, though.
Yeah, they've done that before. And shout out to Carrie Bitterberry. That's a name. That's a lawyer's name, right? I was trying to think what that is. Carrie Bitterberry, attorney at law. That's a lawyer's name.
yeah, I could totally see that.
I love just that flows, right, though? Like, that's a great
It rolls
Carrie
right off the
Bitterberry.
tongue, man. It rolls right up.
Yeah, I just thought that was a wonderful name for what it is.
is.
And you have even Trey and Tammy both start with T, end with Y. Just nice name structure in this episode.
Right. Yeah.
And I love that Dennis and Dee aren't above being a little bit petty. Like, they make Trey and Tammy pay for their kids' tab. The whole bit where Dennis is like, oh, there's definitely a law. Like, if your kids go like to a bar and underage drink, like, you have to pay their tab. I don't think that's a law.
I don't think so either, but I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, and they're probably doing it wrong if they're not looking into that. So, and again, Charlie brings up the whole thing with body language. Dennis and Dee do as well, but it never really like pays off. I thought maybe they were going to do like a a little bit of a human lie detector. Charlie was going to do his thing where like an idiot savant and he figures something out, but kind of just never really came back around. Although it was probably pretty obvious that Dennis and Dee were going to try to bang them. So maybe it didn't really take Sherlock Holmes to figure that one out.
Yeah.
Next up, Dennis and Dee head over to Trey and Tammy's house. Despite the horrific odor of Dennis's pheromone serum, Tammy invites them in. Just take your shoes off. At Charlie and Frank's apartment, Charlie tells Mac that Frank is missing and asks for his help in finding him. Mac is interested in solving a mystery, so they decide to check out Frank's most likely location under the bridge. Soup, one thing I loved here was the smell bit, but again, got ruined in the trailer.
Oh, that's actually not a clone. No, that's a pheromone serum I heard about on Rogan. Super cool, man. It's like testicular fluid from like a bull's prostate or something like that. I know it sounds strange, but it's scientifically proven to intimidate males and drive females wild.
human females?
Focus, D, stop. All
I
right.
laughed at this very, very hard, even having seen it. And I thought Tammy did a great job, just the way they must have fertilized the lawn. And then she comes back to it again when Dennis is in the living room. It's kind of a stupid joke. It's, maybe one step above a fart joke, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty good. And it was a runner too, which is nice. You always appreciate one of those. I mean, I don't know about you, man, but anybody that wears too much of the perfume, whatever flavor it is, man, don't gag me out with your perfume, man.
Yeah, that's the case again. To go back to the bear, right? Subtract.
Yeah.
Like don't you don't need to be overly complex. Just keep subtracting. You know what I mean? You don't need that many
Marinating in
items on
that
the
shit,
plate.
dude. Like,
Yeah, just get
too
it down
much
to 2, dude. You
perfume.
don't need that many things going on. But dude, it's not even a cologne. It's a pheromone serum that's either testicular fluid or like fluid from a bull's prostate or something like that. That's
Yeah, that's
people do.
wild.
I've heard of like the deer antler sprays and that kind of thing. I'm guessing like this is based on something real. If I had to guess, put it that way. And just shout out the one exchange between Charlie and Mac when Charlie's trying to explain Mac why he's there.
Take a look around this place. Something's missing. What is it?
A vacuum.
Stop! Come on, man, be serious.
I am dead serious. Buddy, I don't get it. I mean, how can you be so obsessed with cleaning the bar and yet you live in all this piss and shit?
Dude, it's Frank!
It's both of you.
Will you stop? It's Frank that's missing!
He's not wrong. Charlie is very obsessed about running a clean bar, as famously seen in Charlie work, and their apartment is always famously a shithole.
Oh yeah. Like that though sometimes. All your
Yeah, you look around, you still see the 8-track tapes. You see one of Charlie's paintings. Little disappointed, man. The whole restaurant's gone. All that's left is I think you see a hot plate and one. I think it's a better pot. So they kept one upgraded pot, I think, out of the whole thing. So no vacuum, but they're up a pot and some random piles of hair from the wild animals that are living there or whatever. Nice, fun callback to the piss cans.
That smell. Has Dennis been here? I feel both intimidated and aroused.
No, you know what that is? That's the old piss cans. I haven't changed them in like forever.
Mac here, he thinks it's that Dennis smell. So he is actually into whatever the bull testicle stuff that Dennis is wearing. Mac is into it. Of course he is. And Charlie says he hasn't changed the piss cans out in a while. Disgusting. We've seen those before. But we also know now, thanks to the gang and flights, that right behind Charlie, as he says that, is a bathroom. So I think that's a little bit of an Alanis alert there, dude. So someone call Alanis Morissette because he's complaining about his piss cans when he's 5 feet from a toilet.
Yeah. Well, maybe the toilet doesn't work, but you'd think he'd be able to fix it.
It's loud. That was the complaint. It was too loud. He didn't like how loud it was. But again, piss cans, loud toilet. I mean, to each their own, I guess. And shout out Dennis and D. Housewarming gift, good idea. Bottom shelf vodka? What do you think of that, man? That looked like, designed to be Barton's, your classic $10 bottle of vodka, right? Or whatever the hell it costs these days.
Yeah. Definitely some cheap shit, man.
Usually don't see somebody do that unless they're an alcoholic and they're planning on drinking it there. It's one of those, here's the gift. All right, I'll pour you a drink. And then they just basically just go in the house and drink it.
Which may have been the case, because
nice little touch there. I just, they thought enough to bring a gift, but that's what they came up with. And they literally probably just went under the bar and looked at what they had a bunch of.
Yeah, man, shit, we're never selling this shit, man.
Yep,
for 5 years.
Yeah, nobody wants this, so we might as well at least get rid of it. That feels like that's about par for the course, probably. Still at Trey and Tammy's house, Dee goes ahead and shoots her shot with Trey, and he kind of seems to be into it. But when Dee learns that he does all the housework while Tammy is the breadwinner, she excuses herself to go take a shit. Dennis shoots his shot with Tammy, who turns him down cold. Dennis then excuses himself to go take a shit and meets up with Dee in the Range Rover. Dee says she couldn't go through with it because Trey's a pussy, while Dennis lies and says that he turned Tammy down despite her being into him. Again, funny moment here with the obviously her bringing back the smell thing, thinking there's a dead animal or whatever in the living room. I just love that runner. And also the take a shit thing. I was trying to think where it's from. It is from that we were talking about it I think off cam about April Fools, and Rick and Morty dropped I think the season 3 premiere on April Fool's Day, and that was one of the runners in there. Whenever Rick had to just awkwardly leave a situation, he's like, oh, I gotta go take a shit.
What the fuck? We just teleported into a galactic federal prison. I'm gonna go take a shit.
Oh, yeah.
That's how he walked out every time. So I knew that reminded me of something there. It would also remind me of something, and maybe says something. This one hit a little close to home. Dude, Trey's all serious, right? He's like, yo, I got some side action going on. I'm really killing it in fantasy football. and that kind of sucks because I'll admit, like, if you're doing good at fantasy football, you feel like you're doing good. It's like in the Gang Rules the World or whatever when they're playing the video game. It's like if you're doing good in the game, you're doing good in life.
Yeah, man.
So I feel for Trey. That's like all he's got going, right? He's basically a house hubby. So his whole side action is just his fantasy football.
Bad gig, dude.
Hey, it is definitely not a bad gig. And it's obviously funny the way Dee reacts to Trey doing the housework, but I think even better is when she tells Dennis about it. Dennis is like equally, if not more, offended.
He was folding the laundry.
What?
He does that every day.
She should be doing that.
Of course she should. You know what else? He goes grocery shopping.
What? Why?
Because he's a pussy, like I said.
You know, whenever Howerton gets to play like Dennis just being like wildly offended by something, it's always a good time, I think. And of course, Dennis creepy as hell when he has the scene with Tammy on the couch. If you watch, he just keeps creeping closer to her as they're talking.
Yeah.
Like just slowly, just inching his way towards her like a predator.
I definitely noticed that. It was all like, sitting with his chest all out and shit, getting closer.
Yeah, I tried. And then when she just turns him down flat, just nice awkward silence. Like they just let it sit for the perfect amount of time there, and they're just both kind of like, just kind of looking it off. I definitely enjoyed that one. Sometimes I don't like the cringy stuff, but I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, agree.
Under the bridge, Mac and Charlie seek out Rickety Cricket. They find Cricket, but he can't give them any information because Frank made him sign an NDA. Mac looks at the paperwork and discovers Frank used Uncle Jack as his lawyer, so they leave to go meet him. Let's cut it off there just so we can say, hello, Cricket. We have not seen him for a minute. I think the last time we saw him was last season in The Gang Gets Cursed. No sign of the boy here. He brought the boy to Patty's when they needed a boy. No sign of the boy in this one, so I guess Cricket's doing it solo now. He's obviously got the dreads, and I don't know if he's doing a Zucker thing, but he's talking jive, I think, and to put it in airplane parlance. So funny bit. I mean, I'm hoping this isn't all we get from Cricket. I wish he mattered to the plot more. I mean, they could have just found this, piece of paperwork anywhere. It's cool. I will say the biting off the dog, biting off the dick bit was pretty good. I don't know if if it was dogs. We don't know who. Cricket said he didn't bite it off. He doesn't know what they do with it after.
Wait, well, did they specify? Was it human dick or was it dog dick? Or...
I don't think they specified, but I'm assuming human dick, but possibly dog biting. I don't know. But he did take a big bite of that sucker.
Yeah, he did. I love seeing Cricket in any episode, man. But and the thing that got me is I didn't know. I thought they were there looking for Frank. I didn't know they were there looking for Cricket specifically.
Well, I think they went there looking for Frank, but first they knew where Cricket would be, so they went there to see if Cricket had seen Frank.
Yeah.
Cricket's like Map to the Stars Eddie of the Under the Bridge.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Are you mad they didn't pony up for Under the Bridge by the Chili Peppers here? I mean, is this a wasted opportunity? Would have been worth it. That's one thing you don't have is the needle drop. They had the Forever Young needle drop in the original. Like, I wish they would have had something here. This would have been really weird to just randomly Under the Bridge wouldn't fit at all except for the title. But
yeah, or even just the instrumental, like that beginning,
Yeah, that's the little guitar part. Like, the city I live in, the city of brotherly love.
Man.
Just get Anthony Kiedis to change it to the city of brotherly love real quick, and we're in business.
Not really. I mean, as far as living under the bridge, it's not that bad of a setup, dude. I've seen.
Dude, that was kind of cool. Some of the background stuff. If you look behind Cricket, there's this dude who's got really weird teeth, and then a dude who's got like a hook arm, but it's like weird. It's like up by like the shoulder. You usually see it from like the elbow up. And I'm assuming it was real, so it's good for the dude to getting out there on the screen with the prosthetic arm. But just all of the background stuff was very well done, I think, Under the Bridge.
Yeah.
And I like the line. Like, I think they're trying to go Law and Order with this, right? I think when they're doing the interrogation, that's what they're going for. And that's kind of why he is a sucker. In Law and Order, like, people either like they're eating something, they're drinking their coffee, they keep moving boxes or whatever. So I think that's the vibe or the genre they were going for. But very fun. I like Cricket's line.
Well, he made me sign an NDA, so this Cricket ain't chirping.
And shout out to just a random Music Man reference. I don't know that I know the culture, but I did have to watch the Music Man in like junior high, I think. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
You know why I know the Music Man is from
wrong.
Marge versus the Monorail from The Simpsons, which is a parody of the Music Man, which is mainly my understanding of the Music Man. Monorail. It's very good.
That's a throwback. I might write that on the paper.
Yeah, Marge versus the Monorail, dude. That is one of my probably one of my favorite episodes. And let's don't complain. We never taught you nothing. And Charlie wonders why they call it a soap opera. It's actually called a soap opera because it started out as a cheap radio serial that was sponsored by soap companies. So that's where the soap comes. And the opera comes from a reference to the other cheap kind of shows at the time were cheap westerns, and they called them horse operas. So the combination of those two led to the term soap opera. So there you go.
Really? Wow. Then you learn something every day, man. Because like I didn't know. I was like, man, you're right. Why the fuck?
Yeah, I
And
thought it was like because ladies watch it while doing dishes or something. You know what I mean?
I
And
thought
that's
it
where the
was a
soap
thing
came
where
from.
like SOANP all stood for something. You know, I
Oh,
forgot.
no,
It's
like an
called
acronym.
something. Yeah. I thought it was a fucking acronym, or whatever the fuck. But yeah, man. Apparently not, because that's kind of long anyway. It's 4 fucking words. You know.
Right. It sounds like that would be a fun like if they did a parody of like a a superhero team or a supervillain team or
I was
something
thinking, like,
like
what could it
called
be
Soap.
like the show on, show on any something planet? I don't know. Like, yeah, it could be what. So I
Show
was
on all
thinking about it for
planets,
a
but
while.
that's
Like, what
yeah.
could it be,
We'll
man?
come
Why,
up
why
with
is it?
a
Why is
good
it a
soap
fucking
acronym.
soap opera, man? But yeah, let's come up with a good soap.
That's why, dude. Apparently, that's why. Good bit overall, and I love that. Of course, it's Uncle Jack who does the paperwork, based on the fact that we know Uncle Jack and the way that what Mac reads. If that's what it actually says, I do not know that it would hold up in a court of law. But I love Jack Kelly, attorney at lawyering.
Yeah, yeah, I
Like
noticed it.
that's the kind of stupid like Cartoon Network, like how they used to do like Children's Hospital and NTSF and some of those shows. If there was like just random like 6 episode season of like 10 minute shorts of Uncle Jack attorney at lawyering, I would watch the shit out of that. I would be there for that all day.
Now Uncle Jack, man. Now that's a character. It's like you don't know if you're like stoked to see him or not. It's always good to have a throwback character or another like familiar character from. But the dude's a creepy motherfucker, man. But they always make a good funny. They make good funny shit out of that situation. So as weird and creepy as it is, from that kind of like perv aspect, he still is like entertaining enough to where you know you're cool
A
with
lot of
being
words to say.
out
He's
of
a funny diddler.
the yeah, yeah.
Setting that up, Charlie and Mac meet with Uncle Jack at the apartment. Uncle Jack can't tell them much, but because Charlie is the president of Frank's Foundation, whatever that is, they find an address to check out. The address leads them to a storage unit where they also watch a video Frank made about looking for love. In addition to that, they find a disturbing amount of empty pills, wrappers, and boxes. It's super. Uncle Jack here again. Good time. A little awkward, obviously, because that's Uncle Jack, but at least not quite as creepy as the last time we saw him in Frank versus Russia, where he was like openly asking Charlie to take pictures of kids and everything. So,
Right.
interesting spot for this to air. I like the fact that Charlie calls it out, like his office is in his mom's basement, and he only has a filing cabinet till the FBI comes. Just great the way Charlie Day plays it, like every time, because obviously he has the history with Uncle Jack, probably possibly diddling him. So he's always just like so like over it whenever he has to deal with Uncle Jack. I love that. It's been very, very consistent over the years. Like he never lets his guard down around Uncle Jack. He's always like, we need to get away from Uncle Jack.
And I don't know why that's funny, but it is. I don't know. They just find a way to make it like that. That's what good fucking comedy is, man.
Oh, they play into it. You have the whole bit where Uncle Jack's like, Mac's trying to do a genre thing. Uncle Jack's like,
This is thrilling. What is this?
It seems like we've transitioned into a bit of a political thriller.
Ah, I like those. Needs a chase scene. You want to chase me around the apartment?
I don't want to be in that.
No, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
just the way he says, you want me to chase me around the apartment. Like I cracked up at that, man. All of the storage unit stuff was fine. Again, kind of knew where it was going, obviously, because we know about the Golden Bachelor thing. So Frank's video, was pretty obviously for that. A lot of dick pills. Soup, let me ask you though, were you disappointed that the combination to get into the storage unit was 6969 and not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. That's amazing. I got the same combination on my luggage.
I mean, I think either way I would have been fine with either one, but 6969 seems more like a Frank Reynolds.
It does, and you don't see a lot of 5-digit padlock
than the
codes.
worst
Probably.
Combination on somebody's luggage or whatever the fuck. So it seemed more appropriate for this particular scene situation.
I love that they're still using the old school, like a CRT TV with the VCR TV combo. That is solidly like 1999. Like it's kind of a specific era for that one. I love that the dick pills are just called Rhino.
That's a lot of fucking dick pills, man.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for the payoff to that.
Empty dick pill packages, dude. And
I'm assuming this is because on the Golden Bachelor, you had to keep going on date nights or whatever.
It's weird, man. Yeah, it still is kind of weird just to have only that laying around. Like no beer bottles, like nothing.
My guess is that we probably will see like this scene, like Frank recording the video at some point in the next 2 episodes is my guess. So we kind of see what was going on there a little bit. Like we get a flashback, I guess. I'm guessing.
Okay.
So we kind of like understand it then. I love how, of course, it cuts to Highlander, but remember they used to have the old videotape that basically had everything they'd ever recorded on it.
Fight Bill! Cruise! Charlie McDennis.
So at the end, it would always cut back to like, here's Fike Milk and Invigoron and Dee doing her acting auditions and all that. Like, I kind of miss the original tape. Like, the Charlie McDennis 2 was on that tape. I think that's the last time we saw it. I don't remember the last time we got the videotape, but that's right up there with the easel. Like, I definitely enjoy every time, anytime they use a VCR, let's put it that way, you're in for a good time.
Yeah, maybe they bring the fucking tape back, before the end of the season, being that now there's this tape. I don't know. There was talk of tape, dude. There was talk of tape, so it could be in there.
And there was the paper. This is not the first time we've seen Matt snatch a paper like that. Here he steals it before Uncle Jack and handed it to Charlie. Back in the Kittenmans episode, Dee had a contract that they signed giving her the merchandising rights to the Patty's Pub merchandising. And Jack just takes it and he eats it.
Did it slip your mind? That's okay, because it's right here. I keep it in this drawer so that you two jerks don't try. Hey, wait! What are you doing? You son of a bitch!
I don't know if that's what they were calling back to, but that was a fun one. And shout out the loves of Frank Reynolds' life. He mentions the first one here, that's Dynasty, that he lost due to racial injustice. We saw her back in Frank's Brother. And then the one he lost too soon was Roxy. That was his whore from Frank's Pretty Woman. And then, of course, his ex-wife Barbara died from the Bochanex job. We learned that in Dennis and Dee's mom is dead. So, again, a pretty jam-packed episode, at least in terms of the callbacks.
Yeah, there was that.
A lot of callbacks and dick pills, dude. Maybe that could have been the name of the episode. Well, actually, that sounds more like a remix album for like a rapper. Like a B-sides and rarities and remixes kind of deal. Something like that.
Callbacks and dick pills, dude.
That would have been a great Skinamax show back in the day. It would have aired right after Red Shoe Diaries. Back at Patty's, Dennis tells Dee that he banged 19-year-old Carrie Bitterberry, the prom date of Tammy's son. This totally disgusts Dee, but they're doing a thing and she wants to win, so she leaves to go bang Trey Jr. She goes to his house, gets up to his bedroom, but she can't go through with it after he comments on how old she is.
I don't want to be mean, but my granny isn't that much older than you.
Your granny?
Yeah.
I will have you know, I went to high school with your mom, so...
She said when she was in high school, you were 40.
I was 30.
What's the difference?
10 years!
And Soup, I know you enjoy yourself a PBR, so shout out to Dee Reynolds here, knocking back a Pabst. I do not remember the last time we saw someone drink a Pabst on Sunny. I think it's happened before. Maybe it was actually back in Overage Drinking. I'm trying to think back then. I think they just had generics, but for some reason or another, she is drinking the Pabst here. And of course, Dennis would bang the 19-year-old and basically have no shame, which is funny. Like, it's the funniest part of this almost is the fact that Dennis can't understand why Dee is disgusted with him. He just can't seem to, it won't clock for him. And that I just found to be hysterical. Obviously, Dee's reaction was great as well. But the fact Dennis is like, dude, I really don't see what the big deal is here.
I don't want to be mean, but my granny isn't that much older than you.
Your granny?
Yeah.
I will have you know, I went to high school with your mom, so...
She said when she was in high school, you were 40.
I was 30.
What's the difference?
10 years!
I thought Trey Jr. really nailed it in his scene with Dee. I thought he held his own very well. He just deadpanned against Caitlin Olsen, which was pretty impressive. I really laughed at that exchange. That's going to be up there for probably my favorite scene or quote. I mean, everything here is pretty great. Again, they mentioned the Romeo and Juliet thing, which I don't know if they ever really kind of paid it off, but I thought it was funny. But I also love the fact that Dee just, they don't mess around, right? They don't really have motivation here. When Dee goes to bang him, she's just like, well, we're apparently doing a thing and I got to win. Like, it's no deeper than that. There is no other explanation. She's just like, well, this is what we're doing, I guess, so I'm going for it.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of how they operate anyway, man. They've been doing shit like that for
Right. I don't know if it's admirable or lazy that they don't bother with some convoluted, like, there's nothing at stake. You know what I mean? There's no wager or anything, even. It's just like,
Yeah, at this
nah.
point, it doesn't even matter anymore, dude. It's a challenge, taking it.
It's a weird challenge. And one other little callback, if you look behind them in the patty scene, you can see the bathrooms are still labeled as Animal Shithouse. And so that's been up since the gang solves the bathroom problem. That's how they decided it. Like, when you're shitting, everyone's an animal. Just deal with it. Like,
that's awesome.
We go back to Patty's, where Dee admits defeat to Dennis and tells him that she told Trey about him banging Carrie. We then see a news report indicating that Carrie and Trey Jr. tried to commit suicide by driving off a bridge. Charlie and Mac rush in, declaring that Frank is missing and he took all his dick pills. Then the next news report plays, informing the gang that Frank is missing because he's going to be the next Golden Bachelor. Last week we had a pretty dark ending with the trailer burning, Sparky apparently committing suicide, Dennis and Dee doing the dirty with a dog. Take that for what it will. Is this up there? I mean, Dennis got two teenagers to try to commit suicide by driving off a bridge. I mean, that's pretty dark. I love that Charlie's not even phased, dude. Just classic Dennis. That's all. Classic Dennis.
I just think the Frank on the Bachelor thing, the image that the picture, like, why has he got the guns? Why is he Frankie two guns?
Because that's from Gun Fever 2, Still Too Hot. I'm wondering if they did that deliberately just because it was from another sequel episode, because that was a sequel to Gun Fever, Too Hot, from season 1. So it was also, I think that was season 9, so not as far apart, but it was also a sequel episode to episode 1. Either that or they just wanted a fun image of Frank, because that was when he was on the news trying to promote Gunther's guns.
Well, okay. I see. I just feel like I would have wanted a better picture myself if I were, being on The Bachelor.
I guess the funny thing would be if that's just because that's the what the news has as his stock photo.
Oh,
because
okay,
that's when he was on there left. So that's probably, I guess, what they had.
It's better than a fucking mugshot. So yeah, all right.
Depends if it's a cool mugshot. I guess do they let you do
sure.
your hair first or whatever? I mean, it depends. Like a good mugshot can sell some, can move some units sometimes. There
definitely move some units.
Yeah, the actual news headline: Modern day Romeo and Juliet botch the final act. Couple becomes emotionally unwell after older man interferes with relationship. That was the news, the car run there. That's, and Dennis doesn't even feel bad, dude. Doesn't even feel anything anymore.
I don't know. It's a little dirty. It's a little fucked up and dark. I mean, would I be able to do that to somebody and not feel bad a little bit? Probably not. I don't know. I would feel responsible a little bit, I mean, I wouldn't just not give a fuck. I would.
Yeah, they're not consistent with Dennis's feelings. Like sometimes he has no feelings, then he has too many feelings.
Right.
Like, I don't want to say you could survive, but the Strawberry Mansion Bridge, I believe, is the bridge we saw Country Mac successfully jump off of in Mac Days.
Well, I'm gonna jump from the Strawberry Mansion Bridge.
What?
Maybe just you talk.
Well, whatever it is, we got to get on the same page. Otherwise, we're going to have to do it over and over and over. Did someone just go
Someone
flying?
just jumped.
Someone jumped. He jumped! That's it! He jumped, guys! He jumped! The day's over! The day's over! Country Mac is gone! He's dead! Let's get out of here! Look! 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 Look!
What?
Whoa! Holy shit! Oh my God!
I wouldn't recommend driving off any bridge, but Country Mac jumped off, walked away, didn't even drop his beer. So, but that was also Country Mac, who was, basically very invincible right to the very end. I think that about does it for the episode discussion. One thing we'd like to do is come up with alternate titles for the episode. In this case, if they wanted to go this way and indicate that it's a direct sequel, I don't know how you beat Overage Drinking in National Concern, but we're committed to the bit, so we're going to give it a shot. Soup, I came up with 5 options. Let me know if any of these tickles your proverbial fancy. We have The Gang Gets Old. That's classic Dennis. Frank takes all of his dick pills. The gang changes genres, and Frank ghosts the gang.
I like Frank takes all his dick pills. So I was trying to come up with something that involved the dick pills, because I think right there in the title, you could do good wording with it if you like. I racked my brain for a minute, and I was thinking, what could you do to make a good title other than take Frank? Again, nothing wrong with Frank takes all his dick pills, but I like dick pills and something like maybe with some alliteration, in there. We're taking the dick pill. Yeah, man, that's what happened.
Something with Frank Reynolds, like he's like Rhino rock hard because the dick pills were Rhino, right? Something with Rhino because Matt called out like if he died he would like be rock hard. So I don't know, Rhino rock hard or something.
Not to explode at the same time, right?
Rhino rock hard sounds like a music festival, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it does, man. Henry
Like,
Rollins.
probably more like a thrash metal, yeah, like thrash metal festival or something like that, probably. Fair enough. We did our best. Let's get into the award tour, hand out some awards for our favorite stuff from the episode, starting with our favorite quote from Overage Drinking, a national concern. Soup, what do you have to offer up for us here?
All right, dude, I'm taking it right back to the beginning of the episode, man, because it kind of sets the tone for what they're going to do to go off on their little side adventure here. And that is Mac's quote saying,
Dude, I don't give a flying fuck about any of this gossipy bullshit.
Oh, you're not into teen drama?
No, because I am an adult and I like adult stories, like a sexual psychological thriller, you know? This has no weight to it.
it kind of was the whole setup, like that quote alone set up the whole thing, like where Mac is now thinking, I don't need I want a psychological thriller or like whatever he's trying, the genre thing. So that was kind of the launching point for that too. So I felt like it was a good quote to pick.
Good call, because it's a good moment too, because Mac at first just acts like he didn't hear Charlie. And then once Charlie starts repeating verbatim what he said, then he tells him, like, look, dude, basically he doesn't say I heard you, but he heard him. And he was just trying to ignore him. So that was just a very nice, Mac, you know what? We're just going to nip this shit right in the bud right here.
Well, yeah, because it goes on for a high. If he would have let him finish that whole thing again, it goes on for
he would have said the whole thing again, which could have been funny. In comedy, it could have been one of those things. Like, it's funny, then it goes on too long, and then it gets funny again. Like, they could have let it go, but I kind of appreciate the way they did it. I thought it turned out pretty nicely. I had a number of options here. I kind of struggled with what to go with. I had one I was going to go with, but it's probably going to be my favorite scene or moment instead. I am going to go ahead and focus on a quote I mentioned a little bit. I feel a little bit triggered when Trey mentioned fantasy football.
Tammy makes all the money. I don't know what to tell you, but I got some things on the side. I've been killing it at fantasy football.
I gotta take a shit.
And mind you, this is about 35 seconds after she just took a shit for 20 minutes. Very well done. I love the execution on that one. I just teased it. Let's move into our favorite scene or moment from the episode. I am going to go with Dee doing her best. She goes up to Trey Jr.'s bedroom. He looks young. She's going to try to do it, but by the time he gets around to calling her out for possibly being about the same age as his granny, she just kind of loses heart. I enjoyed that whole exchange. I thought Dee was awesome, and I thought Trey Jr. really held his own there. Laughed my ass off at that one. Super enjoyed it. So that's my favorite scene or moment. How about yourself, Soup?
Good call on that, dude. Definitely a good scene or moment, man. I'm gonna have to go almost in the same direction, but with Dennis, him powering through, knowing that he smells like shit. Apparently, to what's her name there?
I live free, like a wild beast.
Okay.
Maybe Trey's gotten a little bit too complacent. Maybe old Tammy needs to take a page out of young Tammy's notebook.
What are you talking about?
Let's bang and make Trey jealous.
And but he still is trying, and he still is getting close. He inches closer, even knowing that she's completely offended by, his.
Right, it should be getting even worse and worse as he does
whatever,
the creep.
Yeah, he doesn't even try. He just leans right into it, dude. It doesn't even phase him. He doesn't try to shy away from it. He's just boom, right there. So he goes with it, man. So I gotta give him that.
Yeah, a little bit of nose blindness there by Dennis. I probably would say. Next up on the award tour is our 5-star people. This is the process we use to determine our episode MVP. We rank our favorite 5 characters from the episode from 1 to 5 stars, with 1 being the worst. First is the worst, and the 5-star man or woman being our episode MVP. Soup, I think it's my turn to go first. Thus far through 5 episodes, if you add up all the stars for me, my top 3 are the guest stars in the lead with 18 stars, Charlie in second with 17 stars, Frank in third with 14 stars. This week, I'm going to work a couple of guest stars in here. At 1 star, I am going with Trey Jr., basically based off that scene with Dee. I enjoyed it so much, and I thought it was really impressive for a young kid to be able to come in and kind of hang in there. So I'm going to go with Trey Jr. there. At 2, going with Charlie. Might be the lowest I've been on Charlie. It's fine. I just wasn't big into him and Mac's plotline. And just like what they did last episode, so much more in a similar situation. But Charlie still got some good lines in there. Definitely more than Mac, so I'm going with him. At number 3, I'm going with Tammy. I just loved all the stuff with her and the smell thing. It was one of the funnier bits of the episode. I also enjoyed her in the scene at Patty. So shout out Jamie Alexander, going with Tammy at 3. And then 4 and 5 were really tough. It was pretty much a toss up between Dennis and D. But in this case, I'm going to put Dennis at 4 and D at 5. Dennis he technically won the game, but I think D won the game of humor because she made me laugh a little bit harder. So I have D as my 5-star woman. Dennis is at 4, Tammy at 3, Charlie at 2, Trey Jr. at 1. Soup, thus far, your top 3 is really a top 4 because you have a log jammer here going on. Tied at first with 16 stars, you have the guest stars and D. Tied for third, then you have Charlie and Frank with 13 stars, and then just nipping on their heels, you have Dennis with 12 stars. Who are you going with here for Overage Drinking 5-star people?
I know this seems weird, but I'm giving a star to Frank, even though he wasn't really in this episode at all. But he took all those fucking dick pills, man. The thing did kind of revolve around him, you know. So
we know he survived taking all those dick pills, so that is probably an accomplishment.
And I think that it was, I think that it was hilarious that as soon as Charlie and Matt came in and told Dennis and Dee, oh, Frank took all his dick pills, they were like, oh fuck, he's gonna kill himself. You know, they knew right away.
Well, I mean, he wanted his heart and his dick to explode at the same time. So
right. So yeah, the only thing that was missing there was, well, who knows? He might have cleaned up. He might have had a couple fucking 8-balls laying around there too, but. Anyway,
he took everything in there, whatever, probably some of that compressed air, you know, whatever they
just left the dick pill packages. Fuck it.
Yeah, I'll co-sign that. I think even though he had the minimal appearances, he's worth the star.
So he's worth the star for me, man. Number 2, I'm going. Yeah, man, I'm putting Cricket at number 2 just for being there, just for switching up entirely with his vernacular and everything too, man. He's I wish I would have got more out of him out of this episode, but. I think it was cool, and I just like the whole scene down there, man. So I had to throw him in, and we haven't seen him, and he deserves 2 for hopefully we see him again, you know. But he was awesome it was awesome to see him, man. So anyway, he gets the 2. So 3, I'm giving the 3 stars to D because you know, she took 2 shits, you know. Doesn't mean she gets 2 stars. She gets 3 stars. You know, she's been killing it this season, man. So
she really has.
And like, yeah. So right on. 3 stars there. 4 stars. Giving the 4 to Dennis, man. I'm giving the 4 to Dennis for all the same reasons, really, man. That whole like interactions and them two have been working well together this season too, teaming up and everything, man. So he's getting 4. He just nudged out a little bit. I think it was mostly because of the, you know. Probably because he actually, went through with one of the plans.
He won, right? Technically, he won the game.
I mean, he kind of won the game, even though there was no win or lose situation.
Right, she was legal. I mean, you know, he is technically correct.
Yeah. So and then slick Dennis ways, he won the day according to him anyway. And 5, we go with Charlie. Why? I know you ranked him a little bit lower, but I just thought he really carried a lot of this one, man, between him and Mac, and even
he carried that whole plot line.
Yeah. So I'm taking him for 5 this episode.
Yeah, he definitely had the best interactions with Cricket and Uncle Jack as well. So I like that. Superwoman Charlie at 5, Dennis 4, D3, Cricket at 2, and Frank at number 1. The final stop on the award tour is to hand out our episode grades for Overage Drinking, a national concern. We grade each episode of Sunny on a scale of 0 to 100 patties bucks. Soup, and thus far this season, starting with episode 1, you've handed out 93 bucks. $90, $100 to Mac and Dennis become EMTs, $90 episode 4, and $94 to episode 5. Where are you at here for episode 6?
I like $91. It was a fun episode, man. You know, it wasn't what I thought going into it, but I wasn't mad at it. You know, it wasn't the best episode ever, but it wasn't a bad episode. It was a good episode, man. It was fun the whole way through. It was, it was entertaining. It was just one of those, man. So at $91.
Fair enough. So far this season, starting with episode 1, I've gone $88, $92, $92, $90, and $94. I mentioned that I felt like this felt more like an episode from the first part of season 16. So I went back, looked at my grades for those 3 episodes kind of before Frank versus Russia. They were 83, 83, 84. So I'm going to go with the high end there. I'm going to go with 84 patties bucks. I liked it, but again, I think it really suffered from coming after Dog Track because there's no way if you make me pick between the plot lines, I'm not taking the Dennis and Dee plot line in Dog Track and the Mac and Charlie line in Dog Track. So just based on that, maybe if this came a little bit earlier in the season, I would be a little bit higher on it. And you had the whole sequel aspect to it. The No Frank, definitely missed him a little bit. I know it was meta to not have him because he wasn't in the original, but that's still never been a bad episode of Sunny. And I'm pretty sure, I've never really been upset with taking home an 84 or $84. Be it a grade or bucks, I'm generally cool with it either way. Next time, we have The Gang Gets Ready for Prime Time. This is directed by Dave and John Chernin. This is actually their first directing credit. They also wrote Frank is in a Coma. They've written other episodes of Sunny, but this is their first directing credit. The credited writers are Charlie Day, David Hornsby, and Rob Rosell. So kind of a classic lineup here of writers. The short plot synopsis is, upon learning that Frank is making a hometown visit with his Golden Bachelor partners, the gang rehearses their family dinner to appeal to America. So I guess the concept here is Frank is going to theoretically come have dinner with them and some of his dates or whatever. And we'll see if it actually works out that way. So they're going to do a trial run. I think this could be very interesting. I think last time they did a meal here was the gang squashes their beefs, which wound up with them basically trapping everyone in a burning apartment. So hopefully it ends better than that.
Yeah. Well, you know what, man? If he's bringing some of his dates there from The Bachelor, I almost guarantee you that Dennis is going to be trying to hook up with one of them.
Oh, you would think so for sure. I'm just curious if, do you actually think that they'll, excuse me. I'm just curious. Do you think that they will actually show that? Do you think we're actually going to get Frank in this episode, or will it be all about them getting ready for Frank, and then all the Frank stuff is kind of in the finale?
Maybe it could go either way, man. I feel like, dude, it wouldn't shock me if we don't get Frank physically in this episode.
I kind of feel like we're not. I mean, I saw a couple quick shots, and one was somewhere they had a Frank kind of doll as a stand-in. I don't know. I think it could be interesting maybe if he shows up at the end, but my guess is Frank's either not in it or at least absent for the bulk of it. They're having kind of a friends and family dinner, so to speak. It's not quite the bear, but you think maybe we get to see a couple of people we know show up, like an Artemis, maybe a Cricket. David Hornsby's writing the episode. Uncle Jack coming back. You think there's a chance maybe that they, to have the dinner, they bring in a couple people? You think they're just going to use actors or something?
I would love to see some of the regulars pop in, man. If we can get more Cricket, that'd be great. I feel like he deserves a little bit more,
Oh, you could just recreate everyone who the gang squashes their beefs. Bring back the McPoyles would be great. Obviously, Bill Ponderosa would be great. I would take pretty much any of the regulars coming back.
Air my grievances, damn it.
Yeah, especially the McPoyles, Artemis, Cricket would be towards the top of my list probably, but I think that that would all
Artemis
be awesome.
would be a good one to throw in there, man. I think that would be.
Yeah, we usually get Artemis. We have not gotten her this season. We did get the waitress. I don't think they're probably inviting Gail the Snail over or anything like that, but they have a pretty deep bench at this point, so you could certainly see kind of a random person come out of the woodwork. Maybe we get a random cameo. Still waiting for someone like Ryan Reynolds to show up. Rob Max out of he's gone full Hollywood now, right? Where are all these when are all these people showing up, dude? When are you getting Robert De Niro to just come do this cameo on Sunny or whatever?
Right.
The funny part is they could probably get people from the actual Bachelor or whatever to do cameos, and I wouldn't know because I've never seen, but whatever. If it makes them happy, I can't believe they're doing a crossover with the Bachelor, but that's what they're doing.
Is it actually going to be is it going to be?
I think they have the real, they got the licensing, so they'll have the actual host and the graphics and all that kind of stuff.
Oh shit! Okay, yeah, I've never seen it either.
But... I know the concept. There's a rose ceremony and shit, but I don't really I just know from people talking about it or doing parodies of it. I think South Park has obviously done. You know what I mean? All these other shows have done their take on the Bachelor, so that's pretty much the lens that I can view it through. I can't believe that this is already the penultimate episode coming up, dude. We're almost already through the season. That's insane.
I know, man. It's gone quick, man. It's gone quick, but enjoy it while it's here, and then you always can look back on them, man. And we look forward to more of them coming up after this season as well. But we still got 2 more for this one, so.
Yep, they're already picked up for season 18. They're obviously very busy or whatever, but theoretically, there is still more Sunny on the horizon. I do have to say, I love having the Sunny South Park Wednesdays. I don't know of a good name for that, like South Sunny or something like that, or Sunny
South
South
Sunny.
or whatever.
You could
There's some
definitely
kind of good alliterative name there, but I have not done a lot of live television watching outside of sports in a minute, and it's been extremely enjoyable. There's only been 2 weeks of it thus far, but I think we're going to get 2 more weeks. We can watch Sunny at 9, South Park at 10. Very, very excited about it. Shout out South Park. They know what they're doing. At 9:30, what did they play? Aspen, one of the best South Park episodes, as the kind of buffer between Sunny and South Park. So that was very enjoyable. And hopefully you enjoyed checking out this episode of the Night Pod Cometh. Once again, we are presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. Find our content wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. We're on social media at Dudes Watch Stuff and on the web at dudeswatchstuff.com. We try to keep it easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS, very crucial to our success. Follow, like, and please subscribe if you had fun. Do not forget that thumb. I'm Magnum Mills with the Soupdeucer. Jamie G is still out there. He's trying. He's had some stuff going on, but we are doing our best. But know that we will be here next week. Same Night Pod time, same Night Pod channel, what have you. Thanks again for checking out the show and being a fighter for the Night Pod Cometh. Whoa!